So at this stage of the series, we've covered variables, functions, something about loops, and a lot about conditionals. And then, hopefully, you've also found your way to this website and watched all the essential videos as an introduction to Unity, and hopefully the rest of the videos too. And then, of course, for further reading, there is the user manual, where you can look at the Unity interface, how to use Unity, especially using the scene view, how to navigate around your scene as you are building your project. That's using the scene view. Also maybe even looked at assets. Okay, so we haven't used Unity much yet. So the first thing I'm going to do is create some folders, because from now on we're going to be organizing our project window. Now I start all my folders with an underscore, because then I can see that those folders are indeed the folders that I've created, and then the contents are things that I've created. So they're just easy for me to access. Mainly there is a scripts folder. And then I'll create a folder for scenes. Now I'm going to be using textures. I'm going to be using those textures in materials. So that's just a couple of folders to help organize things. My scripts in my scripts folder, my scenes in my scenes folder. So now I'm starting to look like a file browser, some kind of organization where I can look at all my assets and find what I'm looking for. So I've mentioned assets a couple of times. So I guess we're going to get to assets. These are basically anything that you use in your project. This can be an audio, it can be a texture, it can be a script, it can be a model, anything that you use in your project. Now your first stop should always be the Unity Assets Store. Now if you don't have Unity open, you can always browse the Asset Store online. Browse. And now we have an interface that is the same as you would find in Unity. So as I said, there are plenty of assets here available to anyone that's prototyping. Let's just start looking around. Models. Okay, so you can select a category and things that you want to look at. And then you can also filter your results. That way you can get organized and look at the things that are immediately available to you, especially if you're just looking for some prototyping assets, something to throw into a scene that gives you a feel without being the final asset. So there we go. Immediately we have plenty of assets available to us for models. That's just in one category. We have other categories. We have textures and materials. There's some audio assets that are available. And some extra things. absolutely. Make your first stop the asset store. So you find an asset that you like, and you want to bring it into Unity. So find the asset store, window, asset store. Sometimes this can take a little while to load. Sometimes it's my internet. And here we have the same view that we had from the web browser. Now to import any assets, you need to log on. When you log on, you'll see why I am logged out, because it displays your email address here. So I'll have to demonstrate while logged in. So make sure you log into your account and use your Unity username and password. And then start browsing. As you can see, there's a lot to go through. What's available? So I should pick something as an example of how to download. I'm going to just grab some textures for now. I'm going to look at the planet pack. Okay, so we have a description of the asset. We have a directory of all the contents of that asset. Those assets. That's quite a big one. You also get some screenshots of the assets. Also read the comments when they're there. Then if you decide you like the asset, click the download button. You'll then get a progress bar displaying how much of this asset package you have downloaded. I'm going to find an asset I've already downloaded to demonstrate the next step. So I found a package of assets that I like. I've downloaded this. Now normally you will be straight at the import screen, but as you can see, if you have previously downloaded something from the asset store, it remains on your computer locally. So if you want to bring it into another project, simply click the import. Now if you've just downloaded the package, you should be presented with the same window as here. Again, this details all the files that will be coming in with this package. It is very important to note that if you import an asset that is named the same as something that exists in your project already, your project asset will be overwritten by what is imported here. That's why they give a couple of indicators. If you notice, I have a new here for every asset. So Unity is basically telling me, no, I cannot see this asset existing anywhere here. So this is a great little check before you hit the import button. Do I already have the asset? Will importing the asset override my old asset? If you're unsure, you can select to not import certain assets. Okay? So when you're finished, you can click import. And then Unity will load your assets for you. Now quite often, the assets will be packaged in a folder. See, nice and neat. I can see exactly what's come in, where it's come from. Sometimes you'll get assets that come in and you'll find extra folders here that you did not have before. But as long as you import one asset at a time and look at all the folder changes, you can organize this yourself. Just create a new folder and name the folder the name of the asset. all the new folders, files that came in, just drag them into that folder. Just keep your whole project window organized and keep all your assets together. As I say, this one's coming very nicely. It has its own folder, and it's also split up its assets. There we have the raw data, which is the height map for these terrains, and then I already have some pre-made terrains, which I can drag straight in. Okay, so that's the asset store. Okay, that is of course just one place to start. There are plenty of other places. First, I have a link here for the answers question, and as you can see here, there are a lot of URLs listed. There's some free assets, free or paid only. So here, immediately is another great link of all different websites that you can source models and textures from. Not on this list, but something that I actually use when I can't find something, is this website, 3dmodels.com. Okay, I found things on here. Models are fairly decent poly count. That's just another one. So there's many around. I'm not advertising that at all. Okay, so there's a list of assets and some things that I know about. So that's for models. Of course we might need some audio. Now audio is a lot trickier to find, especially looping sounds and even sound effects. Everything audio is tricky to find. But again, there is a page on Udemy Answers where there seems to be a collection of URLs that you can browse for yourself and see if something opens up there for you. Now myself, I've got a few more sites bookmarked. These are for some whole tracks, SoundCloud. Same thing here. They're advertising that they are looping, melody loops. I have another one here. I don't recall grabbing anything off yet, but it's in my bookmarks. Play on loop. Okay, so there's a list of audio assets. We've covered some of the main basics. Models, audios, textures. You can also, of course, make your own assets. Models, probably the most famous to Unity is Blender. This is free and available from their website. For textures, another free program I'll suggest is GIMP, because it is multi-platform and it's free, and I find it quite powerful. I'm no expert in photoshopping or editing, but everything I've wanted to do, I found a tutorial and found that GIMP is perfectly able to do it. For audio, again, I recommend a freeware program that is available to all platforms. This might look a little bit basic, but this is actually a very powerful recording and audio wave authoring tool. You can author, wave, multi-track editing. Very powerful program, Audacity. There we have it. Okay, if you want to learn about using some of these programs, there's plenty of tutorials just like the Unity available. For example, the 3D bus. If we hover over training, see they have training on many different things. We have modeling, we have Blender, we have 3DS, Maya, we have Photoshop for your images, and of course we have Unity here. 3D bus. And we have Blender Cookie, great for Blender tutorials. And also, if you look at the Cookie Network, they also cover Unity. There's some great tutorials there for Unity and Blender. Finally, just something I found and I subscribed to was this channel on YouTube, The Scorpion C. Now this person here is great. I think the presentations of the videos are marvellous, much better than mine. And you can see we've got GIMP tutorials, we have Blender tutorials. And if you have Fruity Loops for audio, you can check out their tutorials. So for example, I'd recommend the GIMP tutorials just for 2 videos here, immediately. Seamless tiling and mapping to objects. There you go, how to make your own tileable textures right there in GIMP. And then this one that popped up recently, how to make your own normal maps. So you can give your textures some depth, give the illusion of 3D by adding normals to your textures, normal maps. So there you go, there's just 2 tutorials there, that'd be fantastic. And as I say, the Blender tutorials here are quite extensive. I just quickly scroll to the bottom. We're already into rigging, IKs, so absolutely worthwhile. So now we've had a look at assets. Make sure you check out the asset store and all the other links mentioned. See what you can find to add to your projects.